Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge. I'm your host, Andrea Hack. So today is our final day. It is Friday, and it's day 9 of our Daily Creative Challenge series here. So you guys have been working hard these past 2 weeks, so thank you all so much for sharing your work. I have loved seeing your progressions and seeing all of your amazing designs. So thank you so much for sticking with me. And you might notice that I am still wearing the same clothes as yesterday. So this is actually a pre-recorded stream or video from Thursday because all of the Adobe employees are off on Friday, which is when you're watching this. So I will not be checking the chat today because this is pre-recorded. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. So welcome everyone and thanks for joining. I'm gonna go ahead and get started and let's go ahead and hop on over to Behance if you'd like to follow along with me. And get this out of the way. There we go. So I'm on behance.net/challenge/XD if you'd like to join with me. As always, go ahead and sign up with this big blue button right there. And that way, every day at 8 a.m., you'll get notified in your Creative Cloud app right up here that there's a new challenge and to come back here and check and see what it is. So as always, there's lots of different ways that you can get involved with the Daily Creative Challenge. No winners or losers, just for your own benefit, of course. But yeah, let's dive into it. So since it is Thursday, if I scroll down here, this one has not unlocked, but luckily I do have the daily prompt actually on our starter file. So what I want you guys to do today is focus on content-aware layout, and I'm also going to talk about stacks a little bit too, since it's very close to padding. So stacks was one of the new features that was released on Tuesday with the new XD release, if you didn't check that out. So that's what we're going to be focusing on. And while you do that, I want you to design an article publishing website. So focus on alignment and spacing between the content and design elements using content-aware layout. So think of like Medium, or honestly, Medium is like the only article publishing website that I can think of. But think of Medium, something like that, where users can, write their own articles, read other people's, share them. So that's what we're going to be designing today. And let's hop back to Discord. As always, you can join us, or hop back to Behance. As always, you can join us on Discord. So this is our XD community. Let me show this real quick. So if you have not already joined, definitely recommend you to. So this is a great community where you can get feedback on your design work, and you can ask questions about anything design related or XD related, or just if you want to chat with some other fellow designers. So this is where you can do it. So just to highlight a few of the main channels, we've got the current challenge channel here, and some of you guys have been sharing your work. Thank you so much. I reviewed this one yesterday/today since it's Thursday. That one was really cool. The button states. So this is the current challenge channel. We've got mentors online and they will give you feedback if you would like it. And if you want to just see when we're going live, if you're not sure, I know this week was a little bit different because we had 99U. So I wasn't streaming on Behance one day, on YouTube instead. And then today is a pre-recorded day. So a little bit of a different week, but you can just check back here if you are ever unsure about that. So that is Discord. And let's go ahead and dive into our starter file. I don't remember if I mentioned that, but you can get the starter files just by hitting this Get Started button. It'll bring you to Dropbox, and then you can come over here, hit Download, Direct Download, and you can grab that. So this is what the starter file will look like. Just a little preview. You will not have any of the components over here. That's up to you guys to create your own. But let's take a look. So we've got some inspiration for you. This one by Anna Moreno, I really liked. I'm going to be doing a web 1920 by 1080 version. If you want to do mobile instead, that's totally fine. But I want you to focus on some sort of just like cards, or if you want to do like vertically stacked articles, something like this. You can swipe through them horizontally or vertically if you want. So just some way to see other folks' articles and look through those. And then the resource booklet, of course, you can hop through some of these pages, some of my favorite icons and photos and such. And down here, I've just got some tips about maintaining alignment and spacing and such, and where to share. So Behance in Discord when you're done. Behance with that keyword XD Daily Challenge. So let's scroll on up here. I've got a blank, well, sort of blank artboard started. And if you would like to do the same size, just come over here to this little artboard icon, and then you can see all the different sizes of artboards. I'm just doing this one down here, 1920. And so I've got a little border. What I want to do here is just show a bunch of different sort of groups and layouts of different articles that we can look through. Maybe some categories mixed in with that. So let's get started. And on the left column here, I am going to start with just a column of maybe some categories that users can browse through. And I kind of like this trend of having the lines, like some super subtle lines, that they almost look like they're wireframey, but not quite. So I'm going to use that. And maybe on this side, we can add another column of like articles and such. So let's add our logo. And this is just a super simple logo. This is Omni's font with a little book icon, kind of cute. And down here, I just want to list, you can list pages of the site, or I'm just going to do like some categories. And I want to center this, like right there. And let's bring this down a bit. And then I'll just name some different categories. So let's say, and I also want this to be centered. Perfect. Let's say like technology. This stack I do not want to be transparent. So let's make this all caps actually. It's kind of fun. Business. How about productivity, environment, and like health or something. Okay. So that's really all I want for this little left column over here. I'll just leave that alone. We don't need to do too much with that. Now for sort of the bread and butter, let's work on the main content in this middle area. So one thing we'll need, of course, is a search box. So let's add this up at the top, sort of in line with our logo, kind of like centered right there. And I want this to be curved or rounded radius. And then again, just want to bring that down, pretty subtle. And I will add, let's see, a search icon. So this is where already we can start to use some of our content aware layout. So let me show you how that works if you've never tried it before. It's super easy. So in order to, you'll notice that in my, in the starter file, in the preview this thing, I always show you like where in XD it is. And you'll notice that this is under layout and you can't see it right now, but that is because we don't have something grouped. So when we go ahead and group something, so let's group these together, Command G to group. Now you'll see we've got some extra stuff. So it only appears if it's contextually available, if that makes sense. So it has to be grouped. And you'll see we have stack and we also have padding. So stack, well, let me get to padding first. This one isn't a good example for stack. So padding you may have already used. Let's go ahead and turn this on. So you'll notice when I turn this on, it automatically selects this second. I wish I could like zoom in on this, but this second option right here. And this means that all of the different padding sides have different values. So we've got 23, we've got 606, we've got 22, and 27. So we can go ahead and manually change all of these if we want. So let's say like on the left side, I want this to always be 30. Like that's what our design system says. On the left side of every search bar, it always has to be 30 pixels padding. And so that's how you know that all of the designers are using the exact same spacing for all of those components. Or we could come over here and you'll see this little border shows that it's all the same. So it's all filled in evenly. So if I select that, you'll notice that it goes down to a little circle. And that's because it's supposed to be even on every single side. So it's 23 right now. If I would change this to like 50, it'd get more to a square because it's growing. And you can also, let me just undo. You can also just hit the little, I think it's called the tilde key, where it's like the little wavy guy. If you hold that down while you are hovering over any of the padding edges, you can just drag and do this automatically instead of manually adjusting that. So fun little tip there. So that is padding. I spent a lot of time on that search bar. Let's go ahead and add some more content on here. Let's say we can have like explore categories. Sometimes I just get so wrapped up in like one little thing. Okay, so let's put this like right here. And here I want to show sort of a grid of like Pinterest-esque photos and such. And this will be our different articles, but like the photos for them. So let's just add a few things. A few little rectangle-y shapes. And give them like kind of the same spacing here. I also want this little like see more sort of icon. So for all of these, I want the radius to be like 40, maybe 30. And then I just want to mask these with some photos. So let's bring some photos in. And if you have all of these already in a folder, like in Finder, you can just drag and drop them in. I don't exactly know where that folder is right now, so I'm just doing this manually, but that's okay. So I'm just masking these together. So I just have to send these behind each actual square and then do Shift Command M to mask it with inside the rectangle. I don't need these to be like super precise or anything. I just kind of want to show you the example. Okay. So the cool thing with this, now I want to show you stacks. So let me just get these a little closer. Okay. It's so easy to get wrapped up in the details with these things. So the cool thing with this is, I mean, I could go in and add a bunch more things in here, like the title of the articles and stuff, but let's go ahead and group all of these together. So Command G to group while everything is selected. And now you'll see, again, we have these two that appear. And if I undo, if I like degroup them or ungroup them, we will see that that disappears. So we have to Command G to group. And now I want to focus on stacks. So if we check that little box right there, you'll see that we've got, so this is brand new from Tuesday. You'll see that we've got either vertical stack or horizontal stack with those little arrows. So it's very fun to play with. If you just double click and you start moving things around, whoa, you'll see that we can automatically move different groups of things around, and it kind of magnetically clicks to certain areas, which is super cool. And the cool thing with stacks is that it can get kind of meta. So you can have groups within group, or like stacks within stacks within stacks. So I've got one stack here. You'll notice I've got this one, so I can do this one as well. So if I just mark that checkbox, and if I double click in and start moving this one, I can do that too. Super cool, right? So that's another little stack sort of group we can do. Let's add, down here would be a great spot to explore some more stacks. So let's do like articles from people you follow. And we'll add some content right there. So here, let me just copy and paste this photo. Maybe make it a little bit smaller. Let's pretend that's a new photo. And then let's give this article a title. So we'll say Lorem Ipsum Dolores Edamet. I have Lorem Ipsum pretty much memorized by now. Or at least like the beginning. Okay, so this is our article title. And then below this, let's have like the date. So June 18th. Well, for you, it's the 19th, I suppose. And let's make this a little smaller. Bring this down a bit. Okay. And then the only other thing I want to add in this sort of group is maybe the categories. So maybe this has a few different categories. Let's bring this up a bit. So we can just, let's use repeat grid actually. Easier way to do this. So just hit repeat grid and then you just drag this over. Let's add 4. And then if you want to go in and change the color, you can do that as well. So just double click in and we'll change these colors to something a bit different. Just so I can show you the stacks here because this is a fun one. So let's group all of these together so we can actually do stacks. So Command G to group. I don't really want the title to be part of that because that should always be on the top. But if I wanted to do a repeat grid, so this is cool. So let's do a repeat grid. Let's have maybe 5 or so of these. And then if we go over here, oh wait, hold on. Oh, okay. Well, let's do this with this first. So you actually have to stack it before doing a repeat grid, but let me show you this. So if you come over here and check this box, let's see all of the things that we could rearrange. So first, it's telling us that we've got the horizontal. So that's just meaning that it wants to group just these two, or like realign these two items. So that's pretty cool. But we can also go a level further. So if we go in here, and now we've just got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these elements all selected in a group. So let's make this a stack as well. So if I double click in here, we could also change these stacks, which is really cool. But I like the original alignment that I had. And we could also do the same for this group of items, but we need to group them together. I think I need to ungroup them. Okay, there we go. So now they're in their own group. It's out of the repeat grid now. So if I just click stack, I can do it for these two. Oh, hold on. I need to get it out of repeat grid. Ungroup and ungroup grid. Oh, okay. That did not work. Never mind. Never mind on that one. But let's go ahead and, so this is all in a stack now, and let me show you repeat grid on this one. So if we drag this down a bit, let's say like 4, and then we need to ungroup. So now it's not a repeat grid anymore, but we can like regroup it, but it's still not a repeat grid anymore. Now we can do stack. And if we go in, we can regroup all of these too. So cool. And if you remember, the Daily Creative Challenge from, I think it was Tuesday, we did the scroll groups. So if you wanted to be able to scroll just this area, but not the whole page, we could click this and just adjust this to wherever we want, this bottom of the mask. Let's bring it to like right here. And so when we preview this, you can see we can just scroll through that little area. Super fun. Oh man, I'm running out of time. Let's quickly see how quick we can do this column. So let's say over here, we want to add like a bookmark option, settings options, of course, and some notifications, and maybe profile. So let's add that, profile. Okay. And let's just change this to black. So same thing with these. If we group all of those, Command G to group. We can come over here to stack, and if we just double click in, it kind of like snaps to each little section. So really cool. Play around with both stack and padding. And then if we come in here, we can also group both of these together. This would have to not be a component. Let me copy and paste these two. And now we could do padding as well for this. So again, we could make this just even all the way around. It's a little awkward because this is a 2, so it's a little higher. But let's take it back. Same if you hold down the tilde key, and we can adjust this to, you know, always be 27, 28 on every single side, which is really awesome. And let's just quickly add like a column of articles. So we could say trending right here. Make this kind of pinky and all caps. And then let's do another example. So this would be a good one. So let's say we have a group of, let me just copy and paste this article title right here. So we've got our article title. Let's make this a bit bigger. And bring this over. Okay. So we've got our article title, we've got our trending sort of category, and then we've got maybe the amount of comments and the amount of likes. So let's add some text for that. Just a number for each of those. Bring this down a bit. Copy and paste. So if you want to do stacks, you want to make sure you group the smallest amount of number of elements first and then kind of gradually move up. So for instance, I maybe want to group these two first, and then these two also, and these two would be a group, and then all of these would be a group. So did I group those? Yes. So now we could do stack. Same with padding. We could add some padding around each of these as well if we wanted to. I don't think this really needs any padding, but you know, if you wanted to make sure it's always the same amount of space from the margins, you could do that. But here we could double click in and arrange the title with this top bar, and double click even further to arrange some of these guys. Oh, maybe those weren't grouped. Let me go back. So we can move these two. Nope, I think oh, okay. I see what I did wrong. I didn't select stack. I didn't do that. So if we double click in, nope, I'm not doing it right. So maybe we could just do these two. But that still works. And same, we could add a repeat grid going down, and maybe we want to adjust this a little bit. So you could still do negative for repeat grid if you want to. So let's move this down. And then same thing here, if we want to make this pretty long and let this be scrollable, we could come over here to our scroll groups, select that, and bring this up a bit so that when we preview this whole page, we can scroll through a bunch of those articles, a bunch of these articles. You can make this one horizontal if you want to. So yeah, that's a very quick foray into scroll groups and padding. So let's go ahead and Command S to save this. As always, if you want to export this as a video file, you can do that just by hitting the record button up here and start, clicking around, and then hit record again to save it. And let's hop on into Behance real quick. I don't have too much time. But as always, if you are sharing to Behance, make sure you go over here and you add that keyword XD Daily Challenge in the Discoverability tab right there. And I do want to, very quickly, actually let's look on Discord, just to look at some of you guys' work, see what you guys are working on. Scroll to the bottom. So I looked at this one already. I did not look at this one. So this one is by Majid. Thank you so much for sharing if you're watching this. And this was which one was this? The coffee. I can't remember what the, oh, it was for the different button states. So we've got, oh, it's not a video, so I can't see if there's hover or pressed or anything, but I do see that we have small, medium, and large. So that's nice. We've got a bunch of different buttons on here. You could do that for add to order as well. And I love this illustration. This is so cute. Great job. I love that. Let's look at maybe one more. Let's see. How about this one? This was the Analytical Graph Challenge for Hover. Nice. The text is a little bit hard to read, I would say, even though this is 1920 by 1080. But I would make it just a tad bit bigger so we can see it a little bit better. I usually try to stay around like 12-point font. Great job on your hover. It looks awesome. And using a bunch of different graphs, not just like line or pie chart. Awesome job. Thank you so much for sharing. Well, guys, that is about all the time that I have left for today. So thank you all so much for joining. This is our last stream of today, actually. So go ahead and enjoy your weekend, enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for joining me during these 2-week challenge, and we will have a brand new host with a new set of challenges next week on Monday. Have a great weekend. Bye!